Today we're going to be talking about when is the best time of the year to sell your home here in Maryland. Stay tuned. Hi, my name is Malcolm Lawson. I'm a Maryland real estate agent, and I love putting out content all about Maryland and real estate, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay current on my latest content. Today I'm going to go over what is the best possible time of the year to list your home for sale. I'm going to go over a couple different factors and dates in the calendar years that influence buyers, and then we're going to take a look at the numbers and dive pretty deep into them and really show you mathematically what is the best possible time to sell your home here in Maryland. So I want to start off by talking about buyers, and you can really break buyers into two different categories. You have motivated and you have unmotivated. So motivated buyers are the ones that have to move. Maybe they have a job relocation. Here in Maryland, we have a lot of military, so we have a lot of service members that are constantly PCSing and getting reassigned to stations, duty stations here in Maryland. You also have people that have different factors going on in their lives that they have to move, right? They've got to get into a new home in the next month, 2 months, 3 months. Those are motivated buyers. Then on the flip side, you have unmotivated buyers. These are buyers that they may move if they find something that they like. If they don't, then it's not a big deal. So these may be like a first-time home buyer that's still living with their parents. Maybe somebody has a home that they need to sell and they have an option of what time of the year and when to actually sell it. Maybe somebody's living with a family member or a friend or maybe a renter, and there's no real deadline of when they need to be moved in. So this is unmotivated buyers, right? They're not tethered by a specific timeline. They don't have to be in a home by a certain date. And this probably accounts for most of the buyers in the market, right? They're just not motivated. They can move next month or they can move 6 months from now or 12 months from now. So now let's talk about a few dates in the calendar year that affect buyers and how many buyers are actually in the market actively looking for homes. So the first one I want to talk about is September 4th. So that is Labor Day weekend, and that is also here in Maryland when the school year starts. So many buyers that I work with, they tell me that they want to buy a home and get moved in before the school year starts. And this makes sense. Nobody wants their kid to have to start a new school year halfway through the year. You know, if somebody has a choice in the matter, they're not going to do that. They're going to be moving over the summer break. So this is a pretty big influencer, and it means a lot of these buyers are trying to get into something in July and August. So another date that I really think influenced buyers is November 4th. This is daylight savings time. This influences buyers because now it gets darker earlier. If somebody has a choice in the matter, they want to look at the house during daylight, you know, not at nighttime when it's dark and you can't see the house or the yard. So what this really means is the number of showings after work hours dramatically decreases. So now people can only look at properties on the weekends. So I think this does really influence buyers, and I think you're going to see less showings after daylight savings time just because it starts getting darker a lot earlier. So the next date that really influences buyers is Thanksgiving. Right? Thanksgiving starts the holiday season, and I work with a lot of buyers and sellers, and they tell me, all right, we're gonna put everything off until after the holidays, right? That's what people say, after the holidays. So really, they don't want to do anything real estate related from Thanksgiving all the way up to New Year's, right? And this is when they're spending time with family, they're visiting relatives. So holiday season in general, there's just not a lot of voluntary real estate activity. Most people have had a choice. That is not the time that they want to be buying or selling a home. So those are the 4 big dates that I think really impact buyers in the market and really kind of slows things down. So let's take a look at the actual numbers and see if they line up with these dates that I mentioned. So here we have a spreadsheet of the average days on market broken down by month for the past 3 years here in Maryland. And then in the far right column, I averaged out the days on market for the past 3 years for each month. And so what this number reflects is how long a home is actually on the market before it goes under contract and is ultimately sold. So for January, we have the average days on market is 63 days. February, we have 64 days. March, we have 57 days. April, we have 40 days. May, we have 38 days. June, we have 37 days. Then it starts going back up. So July, we have 40 days. August, 43 days. September, 44 days. October, 46 days. November, 51 days. And December, 54 days. So you can see a very clear pattern here of the average days on market starting off very high in January and February and going down, and hitting a peak low in June, and then slowly going back up and hitting that peak again for the next year. So what we can tell from this is the longest days on market is January and February. So this means there are the least amount of buyers during this time period, right? And this is also, you know, the coldest weather right then in January and February. And as the weather starts warming up, as we hit springtime here in Maryland, that's when all the buyers start coming out. So from this, we can see that the most amount of buyers are in the market between April and July, right? And the average days on market is between 38 and 40 days on market for a property. So if you're trying to sell your home quickly, then obviously this time period here between April and July is the best time to sell your home to get it sold quickly. So let's take a look at the next chart I have, and this chart shows the average list price to sales price. So for example, if a home is listed at $400,000, what percentage of that list price is the home actually going to sell for in the end? So once again, I've got data from the last 3 years. This is the average for each of those months, and then I averaged out the past 3 years in the right column. So for January, we have about 96%, February 96%, March 97%, April 98%, May 98%, June 98%, July 98%, August 97%, September 97%, October 97%, November 97%, and December 97%. So what we see here is a direct correlation between the shortest amount of days on market and the highest list to sales price. So here in Maryland, according to this data, if you list your home between April and July, you can expect to sell it for about 98% of the list price and expect to sell it between 37 and 40 days on the market. In contrast to that, if you listed your home for sale in January, February, you can expect to sell it for about 96% of the sales price and it to sit on the market for about 60 days. So that is pretty significant. The difference between 98% of your sales price and 96%, that's 2%. So in a $400,000 house, that's the difference between $8,000 in your pocket just based off of what time of the year you're selling your home. So you may be asking yourself, well, so why would anybody list in December, January, February? Well, remember how I said there's motivated buyers and unmotivated buyers? There's also motivated sellers and unmotivated sellers. I've actually got 2 listings that I'm putting up in this December that we're hopefully get under contract in December or January. Now, because these homes are vacant, the owners have what is known as holding costs. This is their monthly mortgage payment, their insurance, or taxes that they're still paying on this property. So let's say their mortgage payment's $2,000 a month on that property. If they wanted to wait until April, that's 5 months, that's $10,000 they would spend just in holding costs, waiting until that peak time to list their property. So for these sellers that I'm working with right now, both of them, it just makes sense to list that home as soon as possible. So now it's time for the question of the day. Would you personally be willing to buy a home during the holiday seasons? You know, is that family time that you don't want to do any kind of work-related stuff, or are you open to buying a home during the holiday season? It doesn't really bother you. Let me know your answer down in the comment section below this video. And once again, I am a Maryland real estate agent. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing here in Maryland, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I have my contact information down below this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long.